The Shpole Zayde sat them around a big table and he said to them, "You should all know, my colleagues, that I have a din Torah with Hashem. I'm calling Hashem to a Torah court case. You are going to be the dayanim, you're going to be the judges. If Hashem's the author of the Torah, he's bound by the Torah laws, right? Why is Hashem not giving them their sustenance?" Beseder. Good Tvach, everybody. This week's story is connected to last week's Parashas Dvarim. Talks about in Torah, you're not supposed to take any sides. Anyway, the
wife is always right.
I never said that.
I know.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, this story is also about the Shpole Zayde.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
All right.
It's in
Okay, so in the third year from when the Shpole Zayde established himself in Shpole, that's why he's called the Shpole Zayde, the Zayde from Shpole, right?
Even though he was young when he got
Well, before then he was just called Zaydele, but yeah, as a kid he was called Zaydele. The story in its own, yeah. So there was a very big hunger, very big famine, and the Yidden in particular had a very hard time with it. They suffered a lot from it. The you know the story? And the Shpole Zayde, he took it upon himself to help almanas, right, widows and poor people and orphans. So this is what he did. He was taking care of this. So imagine in a year there's famine, he had a specifically hard time to take care of them. He was like a father to these people, and so he really couldn't handle it. And he had people knocking on his doors all the time asking for help, many women and children. And it really, really got to him. And there were some days where he was so distressed and was trying so hard to help these people that all he ate himself was some bread and some tea. That's all he had, many, many days. And this famine spread throughout Russia, and it affected many, many communities, many Jewish communities. Many tzaddikim sent letters to the Shpole Zayde that he should, make a tumult in the higher world to be mevatel this decree of a famine. Because the Shpole Zayde was known to be a Melumad Benisim. He was, miracles was something that happened in his backyard. So the Shpole Zayde sent letters to 10 of the greatest tzaddikim of the time. Amongst those tzaddikim were Reb Zusha Me'anipoli, Reb Yaakov Shimshon from Shepetovka, which I'm going to be honest, I never heard of this, but that's not a surprise. And Reb Zev Zitomir. Reb Zev of Zitomir, yeah. And others, so these were amongst the 10 people, and he said that they should all come to Shpole. He said that they should all come to Shpole. And after they came, the Shpole Zayde sat them around a big table and he said to them, "You should all know, my colleagues, that I have a din Torah with Hashem. I'm calling Hashem to a court case. I'm calling God."
Let's make sure you're
Yeah.
It's just a little shocking
Yeah.
to hear that phraseology from like a tzaddik.
No, he was
So I just want to make sure I heard you right.
if Hashem's the author of the Torah, he's bound by the Torah laws, right?
I just want to make sure I heard you right. That's all.
And I'm making you are going to be the dayanim, you're going to be the judges. Now, even though normally a person, right, the person who is the plaintiff, right, the one who's being teveya,
Yes,
the plaintiff is a teveya,
and a defendant.
and then the defendant is the, right. So even though the plaintiff normally, according to halacha, has to go to the place of the defendant, since there's no place in this world that Hashem is not, so therefore Hashem's here. And especially in a place where you have 10 Yidden, and not just any 10 Yidden, but the 10 B'dei out there, so for sure Hashem's presence is here. So therefore we can do the din Torah over here. So they all daven together as a minyan, and they really daven with a lot of kavanah and with a lot of crying and with a lot of they really poured their hearts out. The story here, it's saying even even a stone on the wall would have melted from hearing their prayers. And after that, the Shpole Zayde told his mishamish, he told his servant or his assistant, right? He told his the Shpole Zayde tells his assistant to announce in this lashon: at the instruction of this holy assembly that is here, I'm announcing and I'm letting it be known that Reb Leib ben Rachel, Reb Leib the son of Rachel, which by the way, interesting because Reb Leib Saras was Reb Leib the son of Sarah. So according to this, Reb Leib Saras and the Shpole Zayde are not the same person.
What? Say again. Sorry, miss.
According to this, Reb Leib Saras and Shpole Zayde are not the same person. If you're saying Shpole Zayde is Reb Leib ben Rachel, it's not the same person. But again, that's not necessarily a very big detail of the story.
Oh, sorry, I mean.
Wait, is something like?
Stop. It's just
opinion of the same person.
yeah. Anyway, so I'm
But anyway, that's his mother-in-law.
Reb Leib Saras? No, that's his mother's name, I believe.
That was his mother-in-law.
Anyways, yeah, so
So basically, so he says that he's announcing and he's letting it be known that Shpole ben Rachel is being Tovea. He's calling Hashem to a Din Torah, and the Din Torah is going to happen in this room in 3 days. And all the 3 days from that moment leading up until the 4th day, right, which then would be the Din Torah, they were all fasting and they all davened together in the minyan, and no other person was allowed to come into this room. And when the 4th day came, they all sat davening. They had their talis and tefillin. The Shpole Zayde instructed that the Din Torah should start, and he started. What does he say like this? He says, in the name of all the women and all the children of the Jews of Russia, I am demanding that Hashem should come to a Din Torah. Why is Hashem not giving them their sustenance? Why did he make a famine that would destroy them, chas v'shalom? Right? It says in the Torah, Ki b'nei Yisrael avadim, that the Yidden are my servants. And it says in Yecheskel, this I'm not sure what it means. Maybe I'll put something at the end of the video to explain it, or I'll put it in the middle, but I have to look at this pasuk. But basically it's saying, Sh'am Yisrael avadav la'el miyad, that the Yidden are Hashem's servants forever. Right? There's nothing, you can't change it. They're forever Hashem's servants. And even if you're not going to consider them Hashem's children, let's say you're just going to consider them as his servants. That means every single Jew has the din at least of an Eved Ivri, of a Jewish servant. And a Jewish servant, you have the obligation to give his wife and children sustenance. And right, it's in the Mechilta and the Medrash and the Gemara, it is paskin that a master is obligated to give sustenance to the wife and the children of the servant. So how could Hashem not follow his Torah, chas v'shalom? And I know that the prosecutor is going to say that from Hashem's side that the Avadim are not really serving Hashem the right way, and they're not serving Hashem completely. But on this, I have two answers. Number one, where do you find in halacha that because the fact that the servant is lazy, therefore his wife and children should lose out? Number two, the fact that the servants are not serving Hashem is why? Because it's the master's fault. It's Hashem's fault. Why? Because Hashem gave them a Yetzer Hara. And the Yetzer Hara is always convincing them to go the other way, to do the wrong things. But I'm ready to swear that if Hashem took away the Yetzer Hara of every single Jew, that they would serve Hashem completely and with a full heart. Now, when the Shpole Zayde finished saying his piece, the rest of the tzaddikim over there, who are the judges, they looked into the halacha, and after a few moments they said, altogether they announced, justice is with Shpole ben Rachel, with the Shpole Zayde. Hashem is obligated, no matter what, to sustain the Jewish wives and their sons and daughters. And just like the Beis Din down here were maskim to this halacha, so too the Beis Din Shel Maila should also. And they said it 3 times, right? Just like by Hatar Sadarim, we say 3 times. And afterwards, the Shpole Zayde said to bring some mashke and some sweet refreshments, and they all said l'chaim together, and they made a seudah together, and they all went to their homes that evening. 5 days had not passed, not even 5 days had passed, and the Russian government let it be known that they're starting to bring stuff from Siberia, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of grains, wheat and all different types of grains. And the truth is they already had so much stuff there, but the only problem was they didn't have ways to bring it, they didn't have proper roads to bring it, so it was stuck there. But they had just found a way to bring it. They just found a way that they could bring it over no problem. And what happened, the moment this was let known, everybody who was charging so much money for their stuff, now all the prices went down because there's more newer, fresher stuff coming. And so right away, within 5 days, the prices went down and everyone was able to afford. And after a month, all the new tevuah came, and in that year, the entire year was just, everything was there was plenty and the prices went down. Anyway, this is the story of the Shpole Zayde. Last 2 weeks ago, we said a story of the Shpole Zayde, which was coming from a tzad of Gvura, right? And here is the opposite. The Shpole Zayde made sure to worry about all of the Yidden. We should see miracles in our lives just like this. We should see greater miracles. We should see the ultimate miracle where finally Hashem will take us out and not treat us only like servants, but like His dear children that we are. Good Tavach, everybody. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week.